Hello, hello. We're going to be doing a little bit of post commentary today on a run that I had in the weekly pack. Let's jump into it. All right. So, the idea behind this run was that I wanted to go for 5 warthogs, thought it'd be really fun, and there is cockatoo and catfish in this weekly, so I was hoping to get that set up to buff 3 of them and then swap in the last 2 at the very end. This is an interesting weekly. There's not a lot of options for good scaling. So we take what we can get. Bluebird and fish early are decent for the beginning. I really like African penguin. I actually went with tamarin for this run, which I don't normally do anymore ever since it got nerfed, but it worked out. I thought it was pretty good. So we are going to be swapping to the cockatoo, but for now, I like the African penguin to buff the non-faint pets and just to kind of get us to the late game, because obviously 5 tier 6s is a tall order, 5 of the same tier 6 especially. So this game is obviously going to need to go pretty late. But I also was kind of wanting to use the same kind of pets as, you know, the goal. So I wanted to get cockatoo, so I was using African penguin before that. It's also just a good pet. Kangaroo is pretty great in this pack. Especially if you can get it level 2 early. I guess I go for level 3 kangaroo. I don't remember that, but you know, just something to keep us alive. We have our first cockatoo frozen in the shop. We got it off of a level up, but I don't have a faint pet, and its stats are worse than everything else on my team right now. So, not bothering to get it in. Another draw. We're still on 5 hearts, which is great. And we get chicken in. I wasn't even going for chicken in most of these attempts. I think I went for it in like maybe 1 or 2 other games and it never really worked out. But in this one, I think it worked out pretty well. So we get a poodle in, which is good because that means we can buff all 4 of the pets on our team right now. The tamarin, obviously, we want to sell it into a warthog. The chicken needs to, well, it doesn't need to be at the front. We do take our first loss here. Chicken doesn't need to be at the front, but to guarantee that we're going to get the shop buff, I want it to be in the front. Even though, I mean, it's not like I have, even if I put the tamarin in the front, you know, it's not so big that I would expect to potentially, you know, sweep an entire team with it, but it's still fine to just put the chicken in the front. We lose again, so we need to get a little bit stronger here. And I actually do make a mistake. But it's not for a couple of turns. I just remembered it. It has to do with that flashlight. Or actually with a leveled up flashlight. A level 2 flashlight. But we do get a draw here, which is nice. So we're on turn 11. 3 wins, 3 hearts. So I decide I'm just going to go ahead and take the level up. Hopefully we find a warthog, but we do not. I take the hammerhead for some extra money since we're going to be on tier 6s next turn. So I want to find as many warthogs as I can. This opponent found a warthog. lucky, and we do lose to them. But we have a lot of gold now. And our shop is scaled up a little bit. We get the catfish, which is nice. There's the warthog. We sell the tamarin onto it, which is awesome. And we find 2 more cockatoos. So we're in pretty good shape here now with this big warthog in the second position. And is this the turn? I know I draw here. I forget to move the chicken out of the front position so it gets the 12-12 from the flashlight instead of giving it to the warthog. But it works out in the end. I was very frustrated with myself at the time. We get our second warthog in. It's got a nice starting stats because of the chicken that we had on the team for a while. And the stats are enough. We're starting to win now. I like that level up there. Take that level up. So next turn we get double the triggers. We really want that level 3 cockatoo. We need to find another warthog. But we're only on 4 wins. Team's a little scary. We do have a lot of stats and it's going to pass back even more. But this shark I think is just going to be too big. So we go down to lethal with only 4 wins. Terrifying. We do find another warthog, which is great. And then we're going to grab salt. I think it's time we need to start grabbing some equipment here. Salt is pretty good. I didn't want to put it on the 50 attack one. Just because I don't think there's a lot of ways to get melon. So it didn't really make a ton of sense. Not that it's not possible, but still. And we do get a win there. Nice. So we finally get the level 3 cockatoo. Find another warthog in the shop. And now we're scaling these front 3 really fast with this cockatoo catfish combo. So I'm nervous at this point. You know, any of these could be my last round. We're on lethal. And we are scaling fast. And our front warthog is level 2, so it's passing back even more stats. This team doesn't look too strong, but the 50-50 poodle that gets the stego buff is a little scary, but we end up being fine. And we get our second warthog to 50 attack, which is great. Find a chocolate. At a certain point, though, the chocolate's just not worth it. Like, leveling them up just isn't worth it because we're going to have 3 really strong warthogs in the front. And the back 2 are going to get to 50-50 regardless of level ups. That is a lot of stats, but the weakness actually does make us draw there. So we're on turn 19, only on 6 wins, but we're still, and obviously still on lethal. Still haven't found another warthog in the shop. And at this point, I'm thinking it doesn't really make sense to get more catfish. Leveling it up to level 3 won't really make that big of a difference. Just because we're already on 50 attack with all of them. Look at all those stats flying everywhere. It's so fun. Alright, one more turn, and I think we have the 50-50 in the second position, and we'll be really close to 50-50 with the third position. We are going up against teams that have 50-50s, but we are pretty close to having a full team of 50-50s also once the stats go backwards. So as long as there aren't big snipes at the beginning, I'm feeling pretty confident. Find salt, find another warthog. I freeze the chocolate, but it doesn't really make sense. I don't know why I did that. Another piece of equipment would probably be better. Big shark doesn't even really scare us because we have a 50-50. And here we are on turn 22. 3 50-50 warthogs. We bring in the last 2. Give them salt and just meat bone. It's the best thing we can do. And we go up against a triple scorpion team, which is kind of nuts. And thankfully, the stego in the back isn't 50-50. So we can take out the bee, and win with the 5-of-a-kind warthog on turn 22. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.